All right, well, Dylan, thanks for sitting down with us. I know we're in the thick of fall camp, so we appreciate your time.
Yeah.
We are sitting in a building that you've been in for a very long time. I want to take you way, way back. What's your earliest memory of Nebraska football?
I think 3 years old. I don't remember it. Well, I do remember it, but I just don't remember much what I did in here. There is a picture my parents have of getting my diaper changed in the indoors, so that's a pretty fun one that our family always jokes about. When I first committed here, that was like the first picture was sent in our family group chat, so it's like that's a good first memory to have.
Full circle moment.
Yeah.
You know, for your family, you know, this place means a lot to you. Your dad's name's on the stadium. You grew up, your childhood was going to his NFL games. So when you think back to your childhood and those experiences, how much did that shape who you are today?
I think a lot of it helped, you know, where I'm at right now. To be around that kind of atmosphere and that level of football play, I didn't understand it back then, but now to look back, it's like I'm very grateful I had that experience. To be around great football players like Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson and a bunch more. It was just a cool like lifestyle to grow up in, of going to games on Sunday and then kind of like just celebrating. We didn't know what we were celebrating, if they won or lost, but we're just like, Dad played again and let's go home and celebrate because he's been working all week and it's kind of our time to see him before we go to school. So it was a cool lifestyle. It was fun. And, you know, I'm very grateful for those experiences.
When did you know football was your sport?
If I'm being honest, I was probably a freshman in high school because I was just too scared to get hit in middle school. Like I played defensive end in 7th and 8th grade, so I couldn't tell you how many times I would come home from games and my parents were telling me how soft I was, or I wasn't making like plays just because I was ducking out of the way. But in freshman year, and that's kind of really when I started playing quarterback as well. Coach Kidna, who played with my dad, came and he basically saw me throw a football and was like, "Do you want to play quarterback?" And I was like, I mean, I never thought about it, but I would love to try. And he was like, "Well, you're going to be a quarterback and don't let nobody tell you different." So from there on, it was like, all right, I'm all in on this quarterback life, and you know, I'm very, very excited to, you know, keep going with it.
How quickly do you think you picked up quarterback?
Oh man,
Was it easy?
that was hard.
Yeah.
Just like understanding football and like differences of like coverages and things like that. But my first ever pass was just a go ball. And after I threw it, was like, that was the easiest thing ever. Like throw it far and the guy would run under and catch it. So that's just like, damn, that was my first pass. It was a go ball and I was excited.
Yeah, and now you're the quarterback here at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the commitment a little bit. You know, you were highly recruited at a young age. You know, Ohio State, Georgia. Was there something lingering for you that you knew in your gut that Nebraska is my home?
There was. You know, every time I committed to a place, I was all in on that place. And when plans had changed and things opened back up, there was always something I was like, you know, you could go to Nebraska and, you know, be a part of something special. And, you know, I didn't have the courage at the time, you know, being a junior in high school. I didn't really know what that was going to look like. So for me, it was like, you know, it's going to be a step. It's going to be hard, but ultimately at the end of the day, you can do something that you want to do and what you really love. And when it came down to it, this was the only place I felt that I could go to a place, earn my stripes, and do something special that really, honestly, no player in college football could do, which is help, you know, along with my teammates and Coach Rhule, bring back a program to national championships level status. So it was hard. Like the first year was very hard, and there was a lot of growing pains. And you know, after some of those losses, it was like, damn, this is hard. But you know, it just shapes who you are as a person. You just learn so much through it.
Yeah. And I want to get to some of those, but I want to take you to December 2023 when you made that commitment.
Yeah.
You know, can you walk us through? You know, Coach Rhule finishes his first season, and then a few months later, you make that commitment. How did that relationship between Coach Rhule and you start, and what made you believe in him?
Yeah, I remember when he first got the job, and I wasn't committed at the time, and he sent me this long text, and it basically said, like, "Hey, Dylan, this is Coach Rhule. I just got hired at Nebraska." And it was a long text. I don't really remember the end of it, but yeah, our relationship's special, and I kind of got to like fast forward because like right now, me and him are like closer than we've ever been, and it's pretty unique. I never thought I would have a relationship like this with the head coach, especially in college, but at the time it was, you know, come in, earn your stripes, like earn your teammates' trust and respect, and we could do something very hard but very worth it. And you know, his year 3, my year 2, we're ready to go. It's exciting.
What was that moment like for your family when you made that decision?
It was like my mom started crying, my dad started crying, which was kind of weird because he never cries. But yeah, it was a moment I'll never forget. I never forget telling Coach Rhule, like, Coach Rhule, I want to make this place home, and this is what we're gonna do, and I can't wait to do it with you. And I think there's so much power in telling someone that you want to do something together, and we've been together ever since, and it's a cool journey that we've kind of embodied together.
And Coach Rhule has shared with us, he made it very clear to you in that recruiting pitch that this isn't going to be easy.
Right.
But that was something that you were attracted to, is doing the hard thing here.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the places you were committed to, you know, they'd won national championships
Absolutely.
in the past few years. You know, why was that something that you were so committed to and wanting to bring this place back to what you think it can be?
Yeah, like you said, we knew it was going to be hard. And, you know, I have great respect for both of those coaches at Ohio State and Georgia. And I still pull for them still to this day. But when it came down to it, it was something in my gut that was just telling me, like, this is the place, this is what you're going to do. And, you know, with my family and with God, I have, you know, everybody on my side to kind of take on this journey of doing something really hard. I think when you go through it and hopefully it comes to fruition, you look back and, like, this is why we did it, and here we are now. Hopefully January 20th with the trophy in our hands.
And you talk about year one for you is about gaining trust and respect. You know, as a young kid making that commitment, you're here for winter workouts a few weeks later, knowing there's so much pressure on you the minute you step on this campus. Just what went into that? How did you gain the trust of your teammates last year?
Yeah, it was difficult. Like, the first day I got here, like, whatever it may be, I was like, yo, I can't even get to the warm-up. Like, winter workouts, like, the warm-ups are super challenging and just, like, difficult and weird, but they're good. But I didn't really know how, like, I was gonna make it in college. Like, when I first got here, it was like, yo, I can't do this warm-up. And it's just like, here's the first stop of something being hard. But yeah, we had great leaders last year, and it was honestly kind of a little bit intimidating, you know, being a 18, 19-year-old kid, and you're stepping into a locker room of guys that are 22, 23. You kind of just got to put your head down and go to work, because, you know, they've been through losing and they've been through the hurt and the pain, and, you know, I come in like fresh legs, like I have no scars, right? So I kind of just showed empathy to them for, like, you know, I understand what y'all been through, and, you know, hopefully we can do this together and turn it around. And I think as the season got going and plays started being made and things like that, it made it just a tad easier just to kind of, you know, show them that they can trust me.
When you reflect on your first season, what's the first thing that really stands out to you?
Yeah, the first word that comes to mind is adversity. Being a 6-loss team, if you really go back and look at it, it could have been 2 or 3 losses maybe if we really cut out the mistakes and things that, you know, we did to ourselves. But, you know, I strongly believe that adversity just, it grows you, and it helps shape you into what's to come in the future. So, you know, I think that was the best thing for our football team. The guys that are still here from last year, you know, they felt getting blown out by Indiana. They felt like we were right there with Ohio State, but we just couldn't finish it. Like, those are just sour tastes that we have in our mouth, and we have 13 days we can get those back out and show ourselves on the football field.
One of the moments you shared specifically at Media Days was the Iowa game and what it felt like to be on the sidelines and when that kick happened. How often do you reflect on that moment and what that felt like, and how much, like you said, 13 days away, how much do moments like that feel you for how you want things to be different this season? Yeah,
I feel like I watched that game like TV. Like, I watched it like 10 times this offseason, and just to see, like, that game was ours the whole time. And you know, you kind of just gotta just put people away when you kind of can, and, you know, if you let teams hang around, that's kind of what happens to you. You let them get the momentum back. You're on the road. You're in silent count. And yeah, I'll never forget, you know, like, when I got hit and the ball slipped out of my hands, and they're kind of like, people were cheering, their players were jumping up, and they had the ball, and I'm like, I swear I hit the ground, and they go and review it, and it was a turnover. And I was just like, our defense played their tails off all game long, and you're just hoping that one more stop could happen. But that's not on them. That's just that's a full team effort, and that's a feeling. I'm glad that happened because I didn't even watch it go in. I would just put my head down and kind of listen if the crowd cheered or if it was like a big gasp and they started cheering, and I just sat there and just took it all in, watched them celebrate, and this sings, but this is good. This is good for us.
How often do you go back and watch the games from last season?
Well, I probably watched all of them 3 or 4 times, but that game, really stung our entire program. So, it's normally like when your family something happens to your family, you care about it more than anything. So, I consider those guys my brothers. So when they felt hurt, I was like, yeah, we're gonna make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Wearing the title of quarterback, University of Nebraska, you know there's a lot of pressure, but last year was your first taste of really balancing that. How'd you learn to get used to that and what comes with it, the good and the bad?
Yeah, I think just finding guys on the team that can help you lead. You don't have to do it alone. And I think we found that this year of 10 guys, and those dudes are all head of their position groups. And when you have guys like that, it kind of takes the pressure off of you to kind of make sure everyone's doing everything right. But you can just go to one person and they address it throughout the group. So I think that was the biggest change for me to kind of handling that was I can't do this alone. And the guys understood that, and we kind of just all got together and was like, this is what we're going to do, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it.
And the coaching staff, knowing that they continue to trust you and you have a shared relationship, you've already shared how special it is with Coach Rhule. What does that mean to you to have their kind of support and what that relationship looks like? When it's not Saturdays, it's during the week, to help you get through those tough times on a weekend.
Yeah, for example, right now in camp is every day you wake up is you got a choice to. Am I going to complain because I'm tired and I'm sore, or am I going to go up and attack this day? And I think when you come in and you see coaches smiling and they're happy to see you, they're happy to be there. It makes it easier for you, just to know that you have support and you have people that are in your corner to kind of propel you to keep pushing yourself.
We've heard Coach Rhule talk about the way that you're facing adversity differently than he saw you last year. And you've already brought up yourself, just the moments you guys had last year. How have you seen yourself grow in terms of adversity or times that are tough right now that you think have made you a better leader going into your second season?
Yeah, I just think of when the times of when you feel the adversity, kind of how to stop it and attack it so it doesn't lead to a loss. At UCLA, we were down 13-7 and we go in the locker room and whatever the atmosphere of it is in the stadium, we go in the locker room and it's just it's a down vibe, and you look back at it from where we're at now to then is we're 6 points, we're only losing by 6 points. We know we haven't played our best game, but we're still in the game. So those are just instances we can kind of use and to learn from and make sure that if it happens this year, that the guys are ready to go and get back to what we do best.
I said it from the very top, but your dad's name is literally on this stadium. You grew up coming to this facility. How often, in good times or bad, do you get to lean on your dad and just the knowledge that he has, because he's truly walked in the shoes that you are right now?
Yeah, I remember the first time I got on the bus from the hotel to the stadium for the UTEP game. I didn't even know. I just started crying, and it was emotional. Just the drive in of all the fans out there lining the streets and kind of getting off the bus, and it was I'm about to do something that I've dreamed of as a kid, and for it to be at this place just made it extra special. And when I kind of turn the corner and walk up the stairs and I see my family right there, every single game it just calms me down, because I know that I'm not fighting this nation, because it's Nebraska versus everybody, and I just have the support from them to kind of go out there and just be a kid and play a game that I've loved playing.
Walk me through that moment real quick. Your first game day as a Husker, you just talked about, the walk, seeing your family. How about the moments in the locker room, those last minutes and warm-ups, and then standing in that tunnel walk waiting for those gates to open? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was just kind of me trying to get my heart rate down and just breathe. I'm a big believer in, kind of breathing, not really meditating because I don't want to fall asleep. So just breathing and kind of just calming myself down and understanding that I put the work in, I'm prepared for this. And the Husker prayer was I memorized it just because I feel I was only right being at Nebraska. This is what we know. And after that, we played Skrilla, and then the rest was kind of just whatever. I didn't really remember all I remember was just the fireworks shooting up and running out the tunnel. So it was a surreal moment, and I kind of couldn't really believe it. I was like, this is my first college game.
Yeah, and you get to share these moments with family as well. You playing on the same side of the football with your uncle.
Yeah.
What is that like, having him on the same side of the ball as you? And I mean, he's in charge of the guys that are protecting you.
Yeah.
What's that relationship like with him?
Yeah, it's unique. I sometimes feel bad just because the guys feel like if they miss or mess up something and I maybe get hit, that they're letting him down or letting me down. And that's kind of been the process of the offseason. Like, guys, I can get hit and get back up. Like, that's what I sign up for, is to get hit and make plays. But having an uncle is special. He's always there to remind me why I'm here, and he's right there for me, because even though all the coaches care for me tremendously, that's blood family relationship that you can't substitute. So it's like having my dad here, honestly, just because they're similar and they kind of say the same thing. So it's pretty cool.
I know family is huge for you, and how exciting you're going to have your brother join you here soon. Before we get to that, we watched him on TV last night, ESPN. What was that like, watching little brother do his thing on TV?
Well, I was like, bro, put your mouthpiece in first, because he had his mouthpiece in his helmet and he never put it in. But it was kind of cool to see him on TV, to have that opportunity. I remember my first game on ESPN was in high school as well. So just for him to get his moment, get his shine that he deserves, he put a lot of work in this offseason, and to go out there and kind of people doubting him and people saying he can't do whatever, to go out there and beat a really good football team in Milton. I know he was excited. I couldn't wait to text him after the game. When the clock hit 0, I texted him, and I notified it anyway on my text. So I just wanted to let him know I was proud of him, and that really everybody was watching him and everyone was cheering for him.
What excites you the most about knowing he'll be here with you soon?
Yeah, I just think being able to have my brother, moving so much, that's all I really had was family. And my sister, my brother, my mom and dad. And we just learned to lean on each other. And he's my true best friend. And, we kind of do everything together. We have fun together. We do stupid stuff together. And yeah, he's just a fun guy to be around. And on top of that, we get to play football again together, which is something we did since we were younger, to middle school, to high school, and now college. It doesn't really happen like that very often.
Looking forward to this season. Like you said, 13 days away, kicking off at Arrowhead. What excites you the most about getting to start your season at an NFL stadium like that?
Yeah, I think it's a dream as a kid to play in the NFL, let alone you get an opportunity in college to go to a place and like Arrowhead and open up with a really good opponent. And I've heard nothing but fans saying, "I'll see you in KC. I'll see you in KC." And I'm kind of hoping the days speed up, because we're so excited to get there. But we understand there's a process and things that need to happen before then. So
I know at Media Day you shared that your guy Patrick's going to be in attendance. Take us through that real quickly, because I know that's one thing you probably didn't realize you were going to get a lot of criticism for coming into the college light last year. Walk us through the relationship and how that started between you two. Yeah,
so we kind of trained with the same people. We were in Texas and at the same time, and it kind of crossed paths. And I had the opportunity to kind of watch him just throw and talk to him, introduce myself, and like any other person, he's just a normal guy and respects and likes to relate to people. And that was the kind of first time we met. And then came back to Texas later that month, and I saw him again, and he gave me his number, and that was kind of shook me up, because I was like, I should be asking him for his number, but he gave it to me, and I'm just so grateful for that, to add to another guy that I can reach out to and for advice. And I just think ever since it's been him supporting, and I've been supporting him, because at the end of the day, I'm really honestly still a fan of football. And even whether it's him, whether it's Matthew, whether it's Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, I just like watching good quarterback play, and I think you can learn something from every single guy. And it just so happens to be that my guy's 3 hours down the road. So I'm grateful for that relationship. I know it's something that people don't get very often, and it's something I don't take for granted.
What do you feel like you've learned the most from him and the relationship that you guys have?
Yeah, I just think the way he works. You know, we don't speak a whole lot on, you know, working out and stuff just because, you know, we talked, we kind of like to keep football out of it. But just from watching him work, he's very dedicated, and you can tell that he wants his training to translate over to the field, and it's very obvious.
Yeah.
And I think you watch a guy like that, and you kind of try to, you know, take things that he does good, and then take things that you do good, and kind of marry them up, and you hopefully get a better product off of that.
We've heard you talk really highly of just the offense and what excites you the most, the wide receiving room and just the guys up front. Come August 28th, what do you think Husker fans are going to see from this offense?
Well, I know they're going to be amped up and ready to go because I spend a lot of time with them this offseason, and I know when the lights shine brightest, that's when they're literally their diamonds start hitting. I know they're going to have their chains on. I know they're going to have some dudes might have grills by then, but at the end of the day, I know they're going to be ready to play football, and they're going to run really hard. They're going to block hard, and they're just going to have a whole lot of fun playing football. And they're just like some kids running around the backyard trying to moss everybody and run by everybody. So they'll be amped up and they'll be ready to go.
On the flip side, we've heard a lot of excitement about the defense too, and just what it can be for you guys on offense.
Yeah.
How has it made you better every single day going against them?
Yeah, well, it sucks you have to go against them just because it's like, damn, bro, you play so hard. Teams don't play as hard as our guys do, and for them to play so hard on top of their scheme and on top of how much energy and passion and effort they play for each other, it makes it hard to kind of pop explosive plays and make things happen. So when you kind of figure out how to do stuff against these guys, it gives you confidence moving into the season that you can do anything. And yeah, no, they're led by tremendous leaders of, you know, Marquise and Sierra and Deshaun. Like, those guys kind of keep them together and keep them pushing.
You said the word confidence. I feel like this has been the most confident we've heard you guys speak in the offseason just about what this team can achieve this year. You know, what have you seen from when the season ended back in the end of December, January to now that gives you so much confidence to say this team could be capable of leading the nation in things and maybe a national title?
Right, yeah. So after the season, we got 3 weeks off, and I think when everyone came back, it was the first time like dudes were excited to be here and excited to be around each other. I think after the first break, we knew like if we had a special team, the guys were hugging each other, like asking how their break's been, and kind of every time we go away for a break and come back, guys are more and more excited to be here. And so I think that's when we knew we had a special team. And when you combine the talents that our defense has, what our offense can do, and special teams, and then you throw the brotherhood aspect on top of it, it kind of is a home run for everybody. And like, the mission's been laid out since day one of the offseason, and guys know that there's nothing less being accepted, so we're going to be shooting for that.
It's been talked about a lot, but it's year 3 for Coach Rhule, and most know what the track record is. For you being in this program now for the second season, what makes a Rhule-led program so successful?
Yeah, I think just his what he expects for his players, and he kind of gives his players a trust of, yeah, this can be a player-led team, and he gives you guys freedom to do such things. And the leaders have taken that, and when you have leaders that kind of act like coaches, it makes it easy for Coach Rhule to kind of just oversee and coach the football, and the players kind of manage the disciplinary things and some things that sometimes don't live up to the standard that, you know, you have to address and keep them pushing forward.
Well, I'll end you on this, and I know there's some time, but when people hear the name Dylan Raiola, quarterback in Nebraska, what do you hope they say about you one day?
Yeah, first I hope they say I'm a great person, and I love God, I love my family, and you know, that I care deeply for my community, and very grateful for what they do and show and support us. And yeah, and then, you know, the football side is all cool. Like, I think the play will speak for itself, but I really just hope they say I'm a great person, and I like seeing our fans out and interacting with them. They're cool people, and I just hope people aren't scared to come talk to me or stuff like that. So, you know, I'm just want them to know I'm grateful for them and excited for this year.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate the time. Good luck to you this season.
Yeah, thank you. Go Big Red.